Today we're answering a question that we got very early on, right after Burnout was published, which is about Chapter 6, The Bubble of Love, Connection, which is, one of the cures for human giver syndrome. And the person asked us, what if I don't have a bubble? And this is a question we get a lot still.
And it's not even that, like, this person asked us a question really early on when the book first came out. It was one of the questions we were asked most often, including by journalists.
Yeah.
Who were like, what if you don't have people in your life
Yeah.
who will support you like that, who will, as we described in the fall ventral episode, like, stand and you hold each other up when you are attacked by the riptide of what other people's opinions about how you should be living your life.
Yeah.
And our first answer, honestly, was pretty junky.
Yeah.
We said, you get better people.
Yeah, no, that was wrong.
And we were wrong. The thing is, it didn't even reflect our own actual lived experience.
No.
As we were writing the book, we were like, we have to do these things. We have to follow our own advice.
Actually, Emily, have you read the Burnout Workbook?
No.
I'm just going to read a page from the Burnout Workbook.
Okay.
Because it's my workbook. This is from an early draft, so I'm not sure it's 100% the thing. But there's a page, and the title of the page is, What If I Don't Have a Bubble? And here's what I wrote. We get this question a lot, and we asked it too. People assume that because we're twins, we've also had some special bond, an automatic bubble. But we grew up in a household with mental illness and addiction, where feelings were silenced and compassion was weakness. By the time we were young adults, we barely spoke to each other. In our late 30s, we started writing Burnout together and read all the science that said connection was the cure. Only then did we recognize how drastically our upbringing had misled us about connection. So we started practicing what the research said to do. Imagine the two of us sitting on opposite sides of a wall, wishing the wall wasn't there, wishing the other person wished the wall wasn't there, ashamed of wishing. Then one day we're reading connection research and one of us says, hey, are you over there? Want to, smash this damn wall or something? And the other replies, yo, that sounds super awkward and hard, but yeah, let's try it. And it was super awkward and hard. We finally talked about the stories we'd never talked about our feelings, which was extremely awkward to do when we had been taught it was forbidden, weak, and dangerous. And we dismantled the wall. It was slow and uncomfortable at first, but the more we did it, the easier it got. The point of this story is to illustrate that you can find connection because everyone needs connection, including the people around you. They're all longing to connect, but so many of us feel like we have a barrier preventing it. It takes one brave person, empowered by the evidence, to push through the awkward barrier, be the vulnerable one, and connect. You may be surrounded by people who are longing for it just like you are, just like we were, never knowing that they are also surrounded by others who are longing for the same thing. If only one of them knew how simple it was to overcome. We did it, stilted and fearful as we were taught to be, about sharing emotions and being vulnerable. If we can do it, literally anyone can. So who might be in your bubble? What can you do to invite them to start connecting more if they feel walled up behind societal expectations to be completely autonomous and independent?
Yeah, we did it because the science kept on saying.
Yeah.
The science just would, we were writing a self-help book.
Yeah.
And we wanted it to be evidence-based, and the science, we could not get the science to say anything other than love, connection, people.
Yeah.
Vulnerability, authenticity. God damn it. In every domain of science that we read.
Yeah.
It just kept saying it. And eventually I remember being in therapy. This is before the pandemic, so my therapy was in person. And I was like, oh, the science just keeps saying this. And we're writing this book together that's about this. And the analogy that came to mind when I was in therapy, I remember it really vividly. There is a 20-foot long, 20-foot high, 20-foot thick block of ice between us.
Yeah.
The sheer thermal mass of it means that both of us, like, shining our Care Bear hearts as hot as we can at it, it was still just going to take so much.
I forgot about Care Bears.
Just forgot about
Care Bears.
Just altogether. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would take so much that I didn't know if each of us individually, and certainly us as a partnership, had the capacity to do it.
Yeah. No.
And I was like I don't know. Not only do I not know if we can, I don't know if I want to.
Yeah.
Cuz I don't have any reference for what it's like to have the 20-foot cube of ice gone.
Yeah.
I don't have any idea. And things are fine right now.
Everything's fine.
It's fine.
Do we really have to do all that work?
It's so much work, and we don't know. Even though the science just over and over is like, it'll be better if you do this.
Yeah. There's also a phenomenon that we talk about in the book about how when you grow mighty, it's so scary to do because you have no idea what it will look like when you're on the other side. When you are mighty, it's so frightening to think what it would be like when you have that power and that strength.
Yeah.
Because you can't imagine yourself there because you aren't there now. But the thing is that by the time you imagine yourself like in the place of success or power or like whatever you've achieved in your growing mighty, and you imagine yourself there as you are now. But the thing is that the journey of growing makes you capable of being in that new space. So like probably where we were at in 2016, we could not be the selves we were then in the relationship we have now. But because we did all that work.
Right. We changed.
Yeah, exactly. To make ourselves comfortable being,
Care Bear hearts got hotter.
Our Care Bear hearts.
Right. I guess it's their tummies.
It's their tummies.
Our Care Bear tummies.
Another story that tells this same story is do you want to build a snowman? Because that's what Anna's doing.
Yep.
She's so brave. Anna is the hero of Frozen. She is the one who knocks on the door over and over, day after day, year after year. Do you want to build a snowman? She grows and she changes.
Doesn't have to be a snowman.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be a snowman.
Or ride our bikes around the hall.
Like, do you want to connect with me? Hey, do you want to connect with me? Hey, do you want to connect with me? Hey, should we open this door? Do you want to connect with me? Do you want to connect with me? The courage to be that vulnerable, to ask for connection, for love. Anna is she's a hero. She's one of the boldest, bravest Disney princess heroes that there ever was.
Yeah, she throws her arm around her sister and sacrifices herself.
Yeah. She's a huge, huge hero. Like
people make a big deal out of some people are worth melting for, but what Anna does is some people are worth freezing for.
Yeah. And she's the one who asks. So that by the time, their parents die and it's just them and she doesn't have anybody anymore. And it's still, please, I know you're in there. People are asking where you've been. They say have courage, and I'm trying to. I'm right out here for you. I'm right out here for you. Just let me in. We only have each other. We're probably gonna get sued if we release this version of me singing this song.
This is totally fair use. This is our critique grounded in the science.
This is a fully fair use, and nobody's gonna confuse me with Kristen Bell.
But, like, there is an image. There is a shot. They have a computer animated. Somebody drew this image of, from the ceiling, you see Anna on one side of the closed door sitting out in the hallway.
Yeah.
And Elsa on the other side of the door. It's fucking snowing in there. Because her feelings, the snow power is a metaphor for big emotion.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Which we learn in, like, the song where her parents teach her what to do
Conceal,
with it.
don't feel,
Yeah.
don't let it show.
Don't let it show. Yeah. Conceal it. Don't feel it. Put fucking gloves on to cover the source of your power. Anyway, she's in there, and it's snowing on her, and Anna's on the other side of the door. And I think when each of us saw it, we each thought we were Elsa.
We were both Elsa.
We were both Elsa.
And the research said, be Anna. Be Anna. That's how you solve
Keep
this
knocking
problem.
on the door. Keep knocking on the door.
Yeah. And then when the person on the other side of the door, when Elsa runs away to an ice castle, follow her to the ice castle.
Yeah.
And when she kicks you out of the ice castle and sends a snow monster to literally physically drop you out the window of the ice castle.
Let's be clear, very gently plonk you outside.
Yeah. You go back again.
Yep.
You maybe go ask for help, but in the end, you just go back again and again. And then that person still hasn't let you in, but they get attacked, and you stand between that person and the attack.
Yeah. And the last lyric in the song, we only have each other. It's just you and me. What are we gonna do? That's the end?
That's the end of the song.
The rest of the movie is the answer to the question.
Yeah.
You're going to keep showing up.
You're going to keep showing up? You're going to go to the ice castle?
No
You're
matter
kicked out of the ice castle.
how many barriers the other person throws up, because they have been taught in a way that you were not, maybe if you're Anna, that connection is dangerous because your feelings are weapons, is what Anna was taught. I did a whole hour-long talk that I mentioned in Burnout called Frozen and the Science of the Feels.
Yeah. Love is an open door.
Love is an open door. Frozen and the Science of the Feels. Because that whole movie is an 100% evidence-based metaphor for what John Gottman calls emotion-dismissing families,
Mm-hmm.
where you're taught that your feelings do not belong, and emotion-dismissing as opposed to emotion-coaching families, where you're taught names for the emotions you're experiencing. You're taught the meanings of the emotions you're experiencing. You're given emotional support for the emotions you're experiencing. You're not left alone in pain.
Mm-hmm. And to be clear, it's not just your family of origin. It's not just your
Not just your family of origin.
We live in a large-scale Uber culture that values self-control and autonomy and politeness and obedience over honesty and vulnerability.
Especially from people who get raised as girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, we grew up in a dysfunctional family of origin. It's really common in families where there's addiction that the narrative in the home is you don't talk about it. It's a secret.
Yeah.
It's not just a secret from people outside the home. It's a secret from each other. You don't talk about it with each other.
You don't talk about it. And if you're not talking about that, and it's like literally there's an elephant in the room and you're not talking about it, like, don't talk about that elephant that's in the room. It leaves you nothing to talk about.
Yeah. Like, you certainly can't talk about anything difficult.
Because every conversation, the subtext is, we're not talking about the elephant.
It means you can't talk about all the shit that an elephant in your room is leaving, that you're neglecting.
Yeah. And every conversation is avoiding talking about the elephant.
Yeah. So we lived in that home, but because the Uber culture agreed.
Fully supported that kind of relationship to our feelings.
Fully reinforced the idea that, like, you are not vulnerable. You don't talk about your feelings. It is. I remember being a very young child. Oh, God. Am I going to say this about myself in public? Yeah. I was a very young child and I felt contempt for Mr. Rogers.
Me too.
How?
I hated Mr. Rogers.
And of course we did.
Yeah.
I idolize Mr. Rogers now.
Yeah.
He was such a good person.
Yeah.
Who fought so hard for really vulnerable people.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect, but like the core of who he was as a human being.
Yeah.
Was so much of a contradiction of what I, by the time I was 6, thought a person was supposed to be.
Yeah.
That I hated him because insert the shadow episode here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How dare he feel
Mr. Rogers
that
was my shadow.
feelings. Yeah. 100%. No, I felt the same way. He was like, you should feel your feelings and use your imagination and
you're special, just
you're
the way you
loved.
are.
Yeah. How dare he tell me
I'm glad to
loved.
see you.
Yeah. Fuck you, Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So if we can do it, I mean, Elsa did it because she had Anna. And we sort of had to cooperate because it's just not, and we needed evidence-based research to convince us that it was worth doing.
It took 6 months of reading the research to pick the knot apart enough for us to be like,
oh shit, we have to do this.
And we can. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have a sibling and you grew up in a family where, and it might not work the first time, I went to grad school, my master's degree is in counseling psychology.
Yeah.
And over the course of that, I sort of like did some sibling reach out to be like, do you have any interest in family? And the answer I got was like,
no,
thank you, please.
Yeah.
You're breaking the rules. And I was like, okay, so the things I am learning about in my master's degree in counseling about family relationships, I can apply that to all these relationships I have outside of my family of origin. And I did, and it worked. And one of the reasons why I was able to do it within family of origin is because I like strengthened those skills by using them elsewhere. You also do not behave in your marriage the way you were taught to do in our family.
No. That's one of the reasons I married him.
Because Malin is so wonderful.
He taught me that feelings are real. Again, alexithymia, autism. When I was 19, 20, I kind of didn't believe that feelings were real. I thought they were imaginary. I thought they were ideas, not internal experiences, because I was so out of touch with my own internal experience. And he was the first person who was ever like, no, feelings are real. Instincts are things that everyone has. And I was like, no. He was like, yes. So, yeah, reader, I married him.
Yeah, add on the layer that, like, we grew up in this dysfunctional family, in this profoundly dysfunctional culture, and we're autistic the whole time.
Yeah. And undiagnosed, untreated, there was no level 1 ASD support needs, teach kids how to, connect with their internal experience. And, like, so with, like, the whole mental illness, we don't talk about the elephant thing. The extra layer of that for me was alexithymia, and I genuinely had a kind of blindness to the elephant, or at least my experience of ignoring the elephant.
So your experiences that were the like origin story of burnout, of getting really sick in grad school, and me sending you research that it wasn't just Malin being like, no, your feelings are valid and instincts are real. I was like,
I mean, that's how it started. That's 100% how it started. Yeah.
That's how it started. And then I come and like, but it wasn't enough to like get you to like
Not even
not
close. Not
work
even
yourself into a literal hospital.
close. Yeah.
I come along with the science and you're like, oh, it's not just opinion.
Yeah.
It's not just in this relationship. It is the foundational fact of human biology.
Yeah. And that was so scary because if feelings are in your body for your whole life, that means I've got a whole life's worth of feelings in my body still unacknowledged. This is going to be hard.
Yeah, and there's a
was.
lot of people who'd be like, nope, not going to do that because this is going to be hard. It would be too hard to do things differently now from how I have been doing it for these 30 plus years.
Yeah. And oh my God, if I have to face 30 plus years of unacknowledged emotions.
Have I told you about my favorite review of Come As You Are?
I don't remember.
It was written by somebody who hadn't read it. And it was, I haven't read it because I've read reviews of it and people have told me about their experience of it. And I am afraid of what will happen to me if I find out all the ways I've been lied to my whole life about who I am as a sexual person. And I don't know who I'll be on the other side of that.
That's the growing mighty problem.
That is the growing mighty problem.
That's the thing is you're a lobster. I love this and I know you hate it, but like lobsters shed their shell and they are these like completely vulnerable squidgy invertebrates.
Squidgy blobs on the bottom of the ocean.
While the new shell grows back. Yeah, squidgy blobs. And like being a squidgy blob while you grow into your new shell sucks.
Yeah, you have to be in a place where
it's safe to be a squishy blob.
It's safe to be a squishy blob. And if your existing relationships don't support that, like you're just going to get squishy blobbed into oblivion.
Yeah. So the question is, do your existing relationships or any relationships you might potentially value or value more, are they unsafe because they're unsafe? Or is it just scary because nobody's ever opened the door before?
Yeah.
And I think people know the difference.
I don't know if I would have known the difference in my early 20s.
Yeah, maybe not.
But by the time we got to our mid-30s, I for sure, even by my late 20s, I could feel the difference.
And I think we were stunted in that growth.
Oh, yeah.
So probably most people know earlier than that.
Right. Yeah. Again, like, if we can do it.
We're so bad at it.
Literally anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Literally anyone.
However, we did read a lot of research about the hows, about the whys. So, like, we did it very purposefully and intentionally.
And, partly because of what the research said, and also partly because of our existing skill set, we naturally titrated.
Yes.
Our connection. So titration, I'm sure we've used it, but just the standard metaphor for titration is if you dump a whole lot of baking soda into vinegar, you get an explosion. You get a mess. Yeah. If you drop a tiny little sprinkle of baking soda into vinegar, you get a and it's okay. And then you sprinkle in a tiny little bit more. That's titration, little by little, and you don't get an uncontained blast that will destroy things and leave a terrible mess. We titrated our connection. And also, like, there were times when, like, I was capable of or interested in going further than you were, and vice versa. And we, like, had to, like, hear each other be like, nope. Not that. Not now.
Yeah.
So, like, it's, in a way, just find better people is, like, an easier answer and one that people are more interested in hearing.
Yeah. Just find better people is what I did when I found my husband. I found somebody who was already there, who already knew, who could already do it. He had the skill and he taught me.
Yeah.
I did not transfer that skill to any other relationships.
Right. And if you So in Magnificent Sex by Peggy Klein-Plotz and Dana Maynard, it's interviews with dozens of people who self-identify as having extraordinary sex lives. And one of the questions is, well, how do you get to be a person who has extraordinary sex? Sometimes a person spontaneously decides that they want to create that, and so they bring the concept to their partners. And some people meet a partner who has that, and they're like, oh, it can be so much more. And you met Malin and were like, oh.
But not sex, just like being a person.
No, just the human feelings part of being a person can be so much more than I thought being a person can be.
Being a person can be so much more than I thought it could be.
And I got a master's degree in how to have relationships.
Yeah.
And got better at it. So that, I mean, when I finished school, I stayed single for years.
That was a very long pause.
5 years? I was single.
Yeah.
Single. Because by the time I got to full adulthood and had all of my degrees and my job and everything, I was like, I am never going to teach someone the basics of being a person again.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait to get into like a serious relationship until I meet somebody. I don't need to teach the basics of being a person.
Yeah.
And it took 5 years.
Yeah.
I went on dates.
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
To find someone who I didn't feel like, well, if I just train them up real good.
Right.
I was willing to teach people in my 20s. By the time I got to my 30s, I'm not going to do that anymore. And one of the problems with dating later in life is you've learned a whole bunch of stuff. And maybe you're not interested in having to teach all of that stuff to someone else. So.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, my husband is 19 years older than I am. We met when I was 21 and he was 40. We were like together like 2 years later. And I was still learning this stuff. And then I went to get my master's degree at one of those conservatories where they, break you down to build you up. And all of that like emotional, growth. What they do in the conservatory is they rip your shell off and they leave you a squidgy emotional blob. And I did that while living 3 states away from Malin. So after he had been teaching me,
which at that point is the only like real relationship you have in your life.
Yeah. Only really real relationship. Yes, absolutely. And so like up to that point, he'd been like asking me to marry him, like all like, oh, like gazing at me across the, oh, will you marry me? And let's get married. And me like, no, there's no reason to change how things are, but like, it's already fine. Marriage is a piece of paper. Like, you don't need to, no. I came back from Westminster never wanting to be apart from him ever again.
Yeah. Lock it down.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't do that again. I can't be without him. I see now. I get it now. So like, it was a combination of like him just being like, look, this is a real thing. And then going to a school where I learned to listen and feel feelings in an academic setting, and maybe go, oh, learning it from a relationship. And then also from, I say all the time, I learned how to be a person on the podium.
Right.
And that story is one of these pieces of evidence I have for that. So it wasn't just him being, like, it is a nature, like part of him being older than me,
Yeah.
And it was a little bit to do with the fact that he was, almost twice my age when we met. But never once in our relationship has the age difference mattered. Never once. In all the arguments we've had, has it ever mattered that he's older than me? Never once, ever. When you're inside a relationship with an age difference, it does not matter. I think it's like any other difference. Like, it's just a difference, and it's not. Anyway, I'm talking about the age difference thing because there's like cultural commentary on age difference relationships. And I'm like, it's so much bullshit. And you were just saying about how like, you know, when you're older and you don't want to teach people a new thing. And like, I don't know how Malin put up with me for in the very beginning. Cause I was like, you know, I have an attachment style that's not conducive to closeness in general. I have an avoidant attachment style, I'll admit that. But like, you know, family of origin and, you know, neurodivergence collude to make me not the touchiest, feeliest, sweet and coziest. So it wasn't just that Malin was like, I'm going to patiently teach this young person. That's not how that went. That's not how that went. Yeah.
So there were a lot of things that contributed to our ability to create the kind of connection, the bubble of love.
Including our academic training for both of us.
Both of us.
And including the relationships that we had with other people.
Yes.
Our chosen family.
Practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't just happen. It's not fast. It is scary. It is a pretty poor proposition. Like, it's a hard sell, I think. Because, like, again, I was like a 20-foot ice cube will be so hard to melt. Be so difficult and take so long. And I don't know what it, like, I can't say anything about what's going to be better on the other side.
And melting the ice cube does not feel good. Doesn't feel good. Nope. Feels bad.
Feels bad.
Ripping your shell off feels bad.
Mostly there's like tiny breadcrumbs of feel good on the way.
Little breadcrumbs of feel good. Yeah.
That indicate that, like, oh, here's what it might feel like if we're willing to keep doing this.
Yeah.
And by keep doing this, just to like paint, I mean, we've used these like metaphors of the wall and the ice cube, but like what it literally is us sitting at opposite ends of an 8-foot sofa, each of us staring at the wall in front of us, not at each other.
Forward, not at each other.
Yeah.
That would be two feelings.
Talking about like stories from our childhood, stories we've never spoken about because it's against the rules to talk about feelings.
Right. But we both remember really distinctly a lot of the same
specific events. That, again, we're like 35. Almost. Yeah. No, we turned 40 while we were writing Burnout.
Yeah.
We're that many years old.
Yeah.
When we're talking about stuff that happened when we were 5.
Preschoolers, yeah.
That's how broken shit was. Yeah. And we still, it's not that we fixed that, it's that we built a new thing.
Yeah.
So that when people ask the question.
You missed it.
A snowman.
You said we built a new thing and I said a snowman.
We built a snowman.
We built a snowman.
It doesn't have to be a snowman.
But if you want to use a metaphor.
But what's the very first thing Elsa creates when she's letting it go? With her very first gesture, the very first thing she makes is Olaf.
She builds a snowman.
First thing.
Yeah.
Yes, she wants to build a fucking snowman. Yeah. And then she builds a snow monster. Whose name is Marshmallow, by the way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if you have watched the after credits scene, Marshmallow wanders in looking so sad, and he picks up Elsa's tiara. And he just puts on Elsa's little crown. And he just is so happy. I have that as a pin. Marshmallow the snow monster wearing the crown.
And all the spiky things retract back inside.
All the spiky things retract. He got his crown.
Yeah.
And he could relax and soften and just be the marshmallow that he really was all along. That movie, Disney knows what they're doing.
Yes, they do.
There's a reason why that is the single most profitable franchise for them.
That's why
they have the Disney Princesses line, and then they have the Frozen line.
Yeah, because it's too valuable
of products. As a commodity, it's too valuable as a branch to fold into generic Disney princess.
It's worth as much as a bunch of other princesses combined.
And it's not because of the snow or the magic. It's because
The door.
It's because of
the door.
It's because they opened the door.
Yeah. So I'm okay with this being a much shorter episode. The last one was like very long and cozy and feels nice. And this one doesn't feel nice. This one doesn't feel nice. I mean, maybe it feels nice to some people, but like, I think there's people who are going to be like, this doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I think the people for whom the thing we're saying is the most relevant are the ones who are going to be like,
are not enjoying this.
Yeah. And other people are going to be like, yes, connection. Love is an open door.
It is an open door. Yeah.
And the problem is the song Love is an Open Door is with, spoilers for Frozen, the guy who turns out to be the big bad.
Yeah.
Like, he goes along with her, like, falling in love instantly because that's, love is an open door, but then there's the, like, you gotta, like, cross the threshold. And she just feels like a door has been thrown open. Everything is fine now. And that's not actually the answer. The answer is you have to cross the tundra. You have to be willing to do stuff that
go to the ice palace.
Doesn't feel awesome.
And when you get kicked out of the ice palace, keep going.
Yeah.
And there are maybe some people who are saying, ugh, Disney stories are just Disney movies. It's just an annoying movie that for little kids. No, it's not. If there's any part of you that thinks Frozen is just that dumb movie that kids love, it's not for grown-ups. Like maybe you didn't need this message. Maybe this was not a thing that you needed to hear.
Maybe this was not for you.
Maybe, but that's fine. But 100% absolutely, grown-ups made this story. Yeah, it's based on it's fine. But it's not that. They constructed this story in this way using those songs and those images to tell this story, which is so, I mean, if you're not convinced that Frozen is about this, go watch it again.
With just the idea that when the parents put on a gloves and say, conceal, don't feel, don't let it show, what they're actually saying to her is, your feelings are unwelcome in this family.
Yeah.
If you're going to have feelings, you need to go to your room.
Yeah. And she's got evidence. She hurt her sister with her powers.
She hurt her sister. And thank goodness there were the magic trolls who could say, forget this happened, heal the injury, and just leave the fun. By magic, Anna was protected from the damage that would have been done to her if she had truly been exposed to the isolation built into her family. And some people are magical like that. Some people do have like an inbuilt resilience that even though they are raised in an Uber culture that tells them not to, even though maybe they come from a family of origin that tells them not to be vulnerable and open and kind and caring and knock, 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 knock. Some people have that. And if you do, congratulations. Oh my gosh.
To be an Anna. Can you imagine how nice that would be? But then again, how hard it would be because you keep knocking on doors and there's so many people who are else's.
Shut off, closed off.
Yeah.
And I just want to put up a distinction here because it's important that like boundaries really matter. Being able to protect those boundaries really matters. There's an autistic creator on YouTube who showed like neurotypical TikTokers really angry, not just about autistic people, but about people in general, wearing headphones and sunglasses and not making eye contact, like on public transportation, like on the bus. And this TikToker was like, make eye contact with me, connect with me. Like she felt profoundly entitled to experience connection with strangers on a bus who are using every socially acceptable tool to avoid having their energy sapped by vampires like her.
Yeah.
So when we say Anna, we are not talking about like you get to be entitled. It means you knock on the door, and when nobody comes in, you don't like rattle the thing and be like, "What the fuck is the matter with you? You have to let me in." That's not the game. That is not it, kid.
Yeah, no, it's not entitlement. And like another thing about Anna is that because she's been left outside the door, that's what makes her vulnerable to Hans, the big bad. Yeah. She's so excited about the open door because she's like, oh my God.
We finish each other's sandwiches. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, was it though? Yeah. So like, this is the thing that is true about autistic people too, is that they tend to be just take people at face value and not protect themselves and be a little maybe perceived as naive about, relationship dynamics and stuff. And this is what happens when the door is closed and they never get a chance to see an open door, is you're made vulnerable to the intensity of having the door opened.
Yeah. So to the answer to the question, what if I don't have a bubble of love? The answer is you make it. And yep, one of the ways you can do that is by getting people who know how to be in a bubble of love, which is to say have healthy relationships. And another way to do it is to heal relationships that can be healed. When I talk about romantic relationships and whether or not you should leave someone, they have to be both willing and able to change in the necessary ways. And a willingness to change, even a desire to change, is not the same as ability. Some people just are not ready for the kind of growth that you require in order to be in a connection that fosters your well-being. That's not because there's anything wrong with you. And it's certainly not like they don't have an obligation to be a person who is ready to be in a connection that fosters your well-being as well as fostering theirs. But if they're not there and they can't do it, then that's what that is. Mm-hmm. And that person just is not someone who stays in like the innermost bubble of love.
Yeah. And maybe breaking off that relationship is part of you growing out of the shell and being a vulnerable blob on the ocean floor for a little while.
Yeah,
so that you can grow
have
mightier.
Feelings about like ending a relationship and like, end the relationship if that is what feels right. But it's really about finding the distance that is safe and comfortable for you, where you don't get trapped in their other person's nonsense, which may mean leaving altogether. And we can talk about how people manage the fear of leaving a relationship.
But in general, your romantic partners are not going to be the only thing in your bubble. I mean, ideally.
No, for a lot of people, especially for a lot of heterosexual women, their romantic partner isn't even their most important person in their bubble.
Yeah. So I don't want to get sidetracked about like romantic relationships necessarily because
but even with friendships,
like in Frozen, turns out it's not about romantic relationships.
Yeah.
Turns out there's a lot of kinds of love.
God, there's all kinds of like gross right-wing, this is lesbian propaganda. They are sisters.
Gross.
Can you not like create space for a story about sisters?
Yeah.
Ugh, God.
Gross.
Like there is, it's how people show their asses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is when they cannot watch a cartoon about sisters without thinking it's lesbian. Yeah,
just because it's two female characters.
Yeah.
Gross.
So I think you should probably tag on the Bubble of Love song to this.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, not right now necessarily. Because I don't need to
do it right now because I'm not doing it any other time.
Oh, okay.
I want to do and be everything that the world has demanded of me. Sometimes I feel I won't deserve love, not until I'm productive enough. That's when I need supplementary help to reinforce my boundary. In my bubble of love, I am enough. In my bubble of love, there are people who care about my well-being as much as I care about theirs. We guard each other from outside messages, showing each other we care. 'Cause I wanna want and like all the goals that the world has set for my role. Sometimes I fear I don't deserve love, not until I'm successful enough. That's when I need supplementary help to mind what gives life meaning. In my bubble of love, I am enough. In my bubble of love.
Yeah, cue the ukulele.
Yeah, and that was so scary, because if feelings are in your body for your whole life, that means I've got a whole life's worth of feelings in my body still unacknowledged. This is gonna be hard.